You're listening to Life's Lessons, a Chef's Insight, episode number 23. And as always, I'm Chef Michael. Today we'll be discussing the recipe for your life. Each episode will chop, slice, and sift our way through some of life's many lessons with that chef's insightful twist. So the inspiration for this episode comes from a coursework that I'm taking now. Now, friends of mine and people who know me know that every time I say I'm not going to go back to school, I end up enrolling in something. I don't go too long without taking some kind of coursework. I'm taking 5 different classes right now. Now, they're in-service classes, so the demand is not as high as if they were college-level classes, but they do cover some very interesting topics. And one thing we discussed is a man by the name of Everett Rogers. Now, I didn't know who Everett Rogers was, and some of you may not know. He came up with a theory in 1962 called the Diffusion of Innovation. He was a communications professor, and his theory explains how over time, an idea or a product gains momentum and diffuses or spreads throughout a specific population or over a social system. And I started to think, how could this affect us? How does this affect what we do in our daily lives? How does it affect the restaurant business? And then it dawned on me. Over time, there have been plenty of rich and famous people who wanted to open restaurants. And they did. And think about the formula. They have the millions of dollars that you need to open up a place. They can design anything they want. They can buy brand new everything, new equipment, new furniture. The decor could be perfect. They can hire the best chefs, the best maitre d's, the most trained staff. And yet 6 months to a year, they'll be out of business. Why when they have the perfect formula? If I was a chef and I was going to embark on opening a restaurant, I would need all of those things. I would need the key employees, I would need the money, I would need the decor and the location, and all these seem to be laid out for these people immediately just because they wrote a check or made an inquiry. Now, we know they're not stupid people. They don't open restaurants because they think they can cook and they're going to be super famous chefs. What they do is they talk to their business managers or their investment partners, and they find the people like me who would be their chef. And they don't do this haphazardly. So this plan is structured correctly, and then it fails. So why would it fail? Well, if we think about what Rogers is saying, it's simple. We need the momentum, we need the diffusion, and we need buy-in. There are restaurants that you may go to that have been around for 30 or 40 years. The menus are old, the decor is lousy, the food is mediocre, but you enjoy going there. And there must be a reason. So think about that. What draws you there? Think about my situation right now. I started a podcast. I had an idea. I wanted this to work. I was hoping it was going to take off. And I have some really good feedback. But if my end goal was to make millions of dollars and be super famous and be on the radio, then I would be a failure at this point. But my hope is that as I get the message out slowly and more people listen and they tell more people about the podcast, it gains momentum. And then what I'm going to have is a base of real followers, not just flash in the pan. Right now, the only place I put my stuff is on Facebook. So if my 300 Facebook friends all listen for one day, I'm going to have a huge spike. But then it's going to drop off because they might be listening for a host of reasons. One, they feel sorry for me and they're like, Mike could use a couple more listeners. So when he checks his stats, he's going to see we all got behind him and this is how we're going to do it. But that's not going to gain any real momentum. I will tell you this, the people that do give me feedback really like my show, which means I keep doing this because I know there are people who relate to me. And what they do is they're building up my core base by telling their friends, family, and people that they think who could benefit from an episode where to go to listen to the show. So I think that's more important than having 1 million followers right now. Now, if I can't sustain this over time, I will have to shut it down. But think about that in terms of your daily life. Have you done whatever it is that you wanted to do to gain the momentum and spread it over a specific area? Did you do that? Do you have a business already? Or do you want a business? Or did you have a business and then it failed or you just got out of it because you bought yourself a job? I mention this all the time and I use this phrase, bought yourself a job, because what it is this. You have a great idea. You're talented at what you do. You start doing it. But then you reach the law of diminishing returns. There's only so much of yourself you could put into this business before you only get a certain amount out. And then you're in a position where the idea of being your own boss and owning your own business and working very hard kind of stifles the dream because now you are the business. You're only going to make a certain amount of meals. You're only going to service a certain amount of people. You're only going to fix a certain amount of cars. You're only going to do a certain amount of things on your own back before that's it. And if you're happy with that, so be it. But if your intention was diffusion of innovation, then what you had to do was take your idea, as grand as it was, and you had to get momentum and diffuse it, spread it, and make it something that a whole social system or a whole population could get behind and then keep that momentum going. So if you were able to do that, you were very successful. Now, one of the mistakes we make in general, be it us or the restaurant business or individually, is that we come up with a thing, one thing, and then we try to sell the thing. If I have a special and I think that's going to put my business over the top, or if I have one podcast that has one topic that's amazing, it's going to be a bubble. We see it all the time. We see fads, we see trends, we see them come, we see them go. What we don't see is longevity and staying power. And that's because longevity and staying power in life comes from building up the admiration. Think about the Roman Empire, if you want to look at your history. The Roman Empire was strong because everyone who fought for the Roman Empire was a Roman. They believed in the Roman ideals. As they moved across the countryside, they believed what they were fighting for was country. They were part of something big, and they knew it was going to get bigger, and as the empire grew, there was going to be pride, and there was going to be ownership. And then when Rome got too big, what the Romans did, and we have a terrible habit of doing sometimes, is we start to farm out the hard work. Now, the Romans did this with people who were not going to be invested in Rome, who were not going to fight for the country the same way its citizens were. And what happened was, they met obstacles and they walked away. I'm not invested in this, so I'm done. And we find that all the time in our daily lives and in our businesses. What is it that you can do to make everyone buy in? I would love for everybody who listens to my podcast to tell 10 people, you got to listen to them. And then for those 10 people to buy in and then send me more topics. And then I could become something bigger for them. But in essence, I would be doing the same thing from the place that I'm doing it. The only difference would be my diffusing momentum is carrying me through. If your intention is to try to bring yourself to a bigger area, a bigger audience, to diffuse, to build up momentum, then you might want to look at what you're doing and the way in which you're doing it. If you went into business to be rich, you did it for the wrong reasons, because you can't be rich overnight. And you can't take good money and throw it after bad money, because we see that all the time with the rich and famous when they want to buy into a business and they don't know how to run the business. They don't understand the principles of the business. If you think about diffusion of innovation, it's really cool. How do we get people to believe what we believe? Now, I'm going to use a great example, and I wish I would have called ahead and asked permission, so I won't mention the person's name or the business, but I'm hoping to get him on the show one day, and maybe I will, and then we'll talk all about the business. So I had an opportunity over the summer to work with a friend of mine, and he has recently become, I would say, the corporate chef. Now, the corporation started as one restaurant. So the business has a business plan or business model that is similar to certain things that might be out there, but the business is built on one man's hard work and his belief that what he has is unique and important. And because of that, it trickles down to his people and his customers. And I can tell you this firsthand because I only worked there for 2 days, and I would gladly work for a man like this for the rest of my life. And part of the reason that I'm watching this company as closely as I am is because it's what I would have done if I had chosen a different path other than teaching. The way this man works is the way I work. He has an idea. He's going to bring it to fruition. Nothing is going to stop him from doing it. He comes up with cool concepts. He treats his people very well. And it's evident. It is evident. The time that I spent in this place, though short, I saw all the key pieces that are necessary to make a business successful. He has the formula because it's his formula. It's him. It's his life. It's everything about him that is in this business. His family, his love, his passion. It's all there. And you can see it. If your eyes are open, you can see it. Now, if you don't see it, you're buying into it on a very subconscious level. Well, sometimes when you walk into a restaurant, you can almost feel it. You can feel the buzz. The staff is happy. The patrons are happy. The owner might not even be there. But it has been instilled in this organization and this operation that this is a good place to work, it's a happy place to work, and it will continue to move in that direction as long as the person at the helm believes it and those around him believe it. And that's the vibe I get from this place. And that's why every time I see a new store opening up, I just hope that they have the best of luck, because it's the type of place that you're going to find, you're going to run into it, and you're going to love it. And the reason for that is because the idea is slowly diffusing along the population's lines. It is slowly moving into society, and then it's going to explode. And when it does, it's going to be more awesome than it already is. So think about that in your daily life. What is it that you need to do to build momentum? Are you trying to sell a product or an idea, but that's all you have behind it? Did you have a business or have a business that only does one thing, but nobody really believes in it? There are plenty of us who sit around and wonder why it didn't happen for us or to us. And sometimes it's just a bunch of bad breaks. I understand that. And sometimes it's the fact that we don't have it. We just don't have it. We don't have the insight to do it. I mean, those of you who have started businesses, I give you a lot of credit because what you're doing is you're taking a huge risk. That's where the success comes from. The success comes from the ability to take that risk because people who see that want to emulate it. And if they can't emulate you, they will buy into what you have to offer. Think about that from a purely psychological point of view. I always wanted to own a restaurant, but I didn't. So now I'm going to gravitate towards restaurants that I see that are small startups, that I want to be successful. And I'm going to patronize them because I believe in that concept. I don't even have to know who's running it. I don't even have to like the chef. I just have to believe that whatever they're going to do is going to be successful because their heart and soul is in it. If you're worrying about your life to the point where you don't engage anyone, where you don't try anything new, where you don't move in a direction that is beneficial for your future, then you're going to be stagnant and you're going to stay there. And you're going to wish and hope and want, but in actuality, you can do that all day. Wishing, wanting, and hoping does not get you anything. You have to be strategic and you have to understand that your message has to be received. And you can see this with products. There are certain people that only buy certain cookies, only eat in certain hamburger places, only go to certain restaurants, only buy certain milk. Why? 90% of the stuff that's out there is probably exactly the same. Is the diffusion of innovation something that you can get behind? I would like to think so because it's been around for so many years and there's been so many different models and versions of it that it makes perfect sense. How do you get people invested? Over time, with an idea that gains momentum and that spreads. It's a very simple formula, but it took one man to write it down for everybody to really buy into it. And the law of diminishing returns. I'm a firm believer in people who are banging their heads against the wall and wondering why they're not getting more out of what they're doing is because there is such a thing as a law of diminishing returns. There is a point at which you need to either stop, reevaluate, look at your business, look at your life, and say to yourself, it's not working. I'm putting too much in. And you know, it's sad, but this happens with life. You could be in a marriage that's not working and realize you're just putting too much in and you're not getting anything out. And then you have to make a decision, whether it's time to leave or whether there's something else you can do to benefit this relationship. Businesses, restaurants, we throw money in for a while. A couple months go by, we're losing money. We throw a little more in, we get another loan from the bank. But really, we don't want to give up on the dream. But if we look at the books, you can't do this anymore. You're throwing lots of money in to get a little money out and it's not working. So you have to give up. But when you build that base of people who believe in you, there's a reason. There's a reason why they believe in you and it has nothing to do with you. Don't kid yourself for 1 minute and think that anything that you're doing is what's drawing them in. Just like I don't. Think about what I do. You don't believe in me. It's not me you're listening to. It's you you're listening to. You're listening to what you want to hear. And if you want to hear it, it's because it's solely there for you. Now, although that may sound selfish, it's real. You wouldn't be listening to me if there wasn't something there for you. This is about you. And it should be. Those people who don't buy in can't support something, right? Think about it. If you go to a restaurant once and eat there, you get that little pop, that little bubble, but then that diminishes. So it's not a buy-in. The same is true with anything. If you don't love your work, you start to slack off. If you don't love your relationships, you start to not put your heart into them. Think about how simple this concept really is. Over time, an idea or product must gain some type of speed, and then it must disperse itself for it to be successful. And then if it is, it's not successful because of the item or the thing necessarily, as it is successful because of the people who believe in it, because they see themselves in it. And because they bought into it, that's going to turn them into patrons, whether they're eating a hamburger or a taco, whether they're popping up a beer or drinking a soda. It's the same stuff they can pretty much get anywhere. When you buy in, you're buying into something you truly believe in. And that's a good thing. In your daily lives, remember, it is up to you to determine what's good for you. It's important for you to buy in. And it's important for you to produce something that you think the rest of the world will buy into if you truly want to be successful. But you need time, you need patience, you need a good idea, and you need to explain how. Whether it's a system that's going to work, whether it's a product that's going to work, how are you going to get it into the hearts and minds of everyone so that they continue to buy in so that you can be successful. You can enjoy what you're doing, but if it's not being sustained by the populace, it disappears. Whether it's a business, it folds. If it's an idea, it shrivels up and dies. If it's a book that nobody reads, and it could be the greatest piece of literature ever, if you can't get anybody to buy into it, it's gone. So in your daily lives, I want you to think about, are you happy with what you have right now? And how people are buying into you as a person? Do you go to work every day and you produce things that people love? Are you the type of person that people want to be in contact with? Do you leave fulfilled? And if you do, then you're on the right path. If you don't know who Everett Rogers is, take a minute, do an internet search, and read a little bit more about the Diffusion of Innovation. Remember, folks, I really do appreciate everybody who listens to the show, and if you want to get in touch with me, you can always email me at chefsite@gmail.com. Those of you who always listen to the show, I appreciate. For those of you who are new to the show, I appreciate you visiting, and I hope you find something here that you really like and you stick with it. As always, I'm Chef Michael. Thanks for listening.